Hi, it's Mark Coleman from Paul's Photo and the Creative Photo Academy. You saw my pictures today. You saw the Facebook Live video and you saw the Get Creative video shooting on toilet paper. You know, and that's kind of a fun subject and it's kind of a little satirical, but I think it's a tough subject to photograph and get to look right. Because what is toilet paper? It's white on white. You know, and my Facebook friend Sharon, who I went to college with and took photography, she said, it reminds me of the white egg on the white paper assignment. Exactly right. And that's what you want. You know, my good friend Don Kirby says when you're photographing white and printing white, it's a fine line between white and cement when you're doing the white. So when I look at the pictures, I've already edited them and I saved 1, 2, 3, 4 photos from the toilet paper project. So this is the one I really like, and this is the one I'm going to work on today. We're going to do 2 of them. So we're first going to do this one. And I hope you can see the screen okay. I'm in Adobe Photoshop Bridge. And what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to double click in Bridge, and I'm going to open up in Adobe Camera Raw. And here in Camera Raw, I can see the histogram. So I want to open the histogram a little bit. And I'm going to add some texture and some clarity to the image. And I'm going to continue to open it. So one of the things I love about this image is the way it's come together, the way it looks. Now I do have a couple of errors in here that I need to clean up in Photoshop using the spot healing brush. So I'm going to choose the spot healing brush. And these little dark spots on the toilet paper roll I don't like. If there's any spots here in the background, I need to take those out, clean them up, because this picture is going to be very stark when we're done with it. Awesome, look at that. Very cool. Now, I'm going to go to Nik software, which is my favorite for editing. And I told you I was going to make this one a black and white. So I'm going to go to Nik Silver Effects. Opens the image, and you can see it here. You know, like I've showed you in Nik before, I could choose to use their presets if I like. I don't like to use the presets. I'm going to go ahead and hide the presets. But I'm going to go through the colored filters. No filter, red filter, orange filter, yellow filter, green filter, blue filter. So I want the filter to lighten the background for me. So I like the look here of the red. Excuse me, the orange filter. And see how the orange filter brightened the cream backdrop that I chose today? I wanted a little bit of density in it, but not too much. So now I'm going to take the control point here. I'm going to select the toilet paper here, and I'm going to give it some structure. And what is structure? Structure is micro contrast. So what that's going to do is that's going to build a little bit of texture, and it may end up looking like grain. We may have to back off a little bit on this, but I'm still going to try that a little bit in the image and see how I like it. And I like what it did here. Oh, I picked up some dust in here, so I've got to go in and clean that up in just a minute. So now I'm going to take a control point. I'm going to go back here into the background, and I'm going to brighten the background ever so slightly. Right? I don't want it to be white, but I don't want it to be as dark as it is. So now I'm going to copy that brightness and take it around to all of the background, including this little trap triangle right there, right? And see how I'm bringing that control point in? I'm bringing it in, right? See how that goes? It's pretty awesome. I don't like what happened here to the structure on that toilet paper. I'm going to brighten it up a little bit, and I'm going to take the structure back down to 0. Same thing here. I'm going to brighten that up a little bit. Right? Why are we doing this? Because we want to control the brightness of the image. Now, I'm not going to bring that brightness all the way to the edge. And for those of you who've been with me in composition, you know that I like to leave the edges, the corners, a little bit dark. Right? Just a little shade darker than the rest of the photo so it doesn't, your eye doesn't come out of the photo. Your eye stays in the photo. All right, so I'm just adjusting a little bit here. Now, I haven't spent a lot of time on this. Not really. Not at all. And I really like what's going on here. Look at that feeling to the image. It's very white, it's very bright, it's very open. Makes it you want toilet paper. And now, these days, we all want the toilet paper, right? Good. Awesome. So now I've saved the image. Here it is. Photoshop, Photoshop, Photoshop. Did I lose it? Yes, it quit. So Photoshop is crashing right now. And that just happens, it just does. So what do I have to do? I have to go back and do it again. You get to see me do this again. I'm going to do it at my speed, right? So hopefully you'll get to follow along and you'll figure out what we're doing here. So with the spot healing brush, coming in, taking out all these little imperfections. And that's just dirt. Some of it is dust on the sensor, but most of it is just a little bit of dirt on the toilet paper roll, right? And so you try to clean that stuff off as best as you can when you photograph. You do the best you can, but it always just comes back. Now I'm going to go to Nik again. You know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to do something I don't normally do, and that's going to be use Nik Define. And because this picture is white on white, we may pick up some grain or noise. So Nik Define is one of the Nik softwares, and it reduces the grain. And even though I shot this at 400 ISO, there shouldn't be a lot of grain. I'm going to let it work, and it cleaned it up. Because you're white on white, you're going to see some of that extra grain in there, some detail that you don't want. So that works great. It's perfect. Cleaning it up. I'm going to find another couple spots in here to touch up with the healing brush. Now I'm going to go back to Silver Effects, Hide Define. Go to Silver Effects. Yeah. I'm going to use the orange filter again. I'm going to take the control panel. I'm going to put some structure here on the toilet paper. Structure here on the toilet paper. Great. It's awesome. Now I'm going to go to the background. And I'm going to brighten the background just a titch. Brighten the background just a titch. Not going back into the corners because I want the corners to stay dark. So remember in Nik, we copy the control point by using the Option key and then dragging. Good. Oh, that looks really nice to me. It has a good feel. I actually like this one better than the last one. I'm going to hit OK. Great. Here it is in Photoshop. Awesome. I love it. I'm going to go Command L for levels and look at the levels. And now I need to manage my whiteness. This is where you see how it's going to print and you control it. So right about there looks right for me. Hit OK. You have to come back in with the spot healing brush and clean up some of those extra spots by changing the contrast we picked up. Okay. And now remember, we're going to File, Save As, and it's going to save it as a PSD with the layers. All right, very cool. Yes, we want it to be compatible. Now I'm going to flatten the layers and save it as a JPEG because the JPEG is what I'm going to print. The JPEG is what I'm going to put on Photoshop for you guys, on Facebook and Instagram for you guys to see. There we go. Very cool. Oh, I see one more mistake I want to correct, and that's right there. Very good. Very cool. Command save. And there we go. So here's my, oops, another spot. doggone it, I gotta just keep cleaning those spots. All right, so there's picture number one. I'm gonna post this on Facebook in just a minute. Command save, Command W to close it, back to bridge, and we're gonna do this one. So this one's gonna take a little bit more work. I like this one, I like this scene, I like what I did with it. It's gonna be kind of fun to print, but it's got some issues. Number one, I need to raise the exposure a little bit, get it closer, hit OK. Now I'm gonna use the crop tool, keep the crop angle to 3.2, but I'm gonna come in because I wanna get rid of the tile wall there, and I want to straighten the image. So it's a little off. I want to straighten it just right there. No. So right about there looks straight to me. No. See, the toilet's straight. So now I have to do what's called a transform. I'm going to straighten it here. And now I'm going to go to the crop tool, and I'm going to use the perspective control tool. So now I'm going to bring this in to make that line straight, and I'm going to make this line straight here, and I'm going to hit OK and let Photoshop work. And there you go. Look at that. Now everything is straight. That's really awesome. Now, what else don't I like in the picture? I don't like the supply line for the toilet. So I'm going to use the magnifying glass. I'm going to go right in here, right? And I'm going to use the cloning tool, and I will make that disappear. So now in real life the supply is going to be on the other side, because that was that big line there on the background, and I didn't like that. So I want it to be more plain, that background. So this is going to be down in the shadows. Just taking the area, cloning it in, taking this area here, cloning it down, kind of managing that light. Command O going back to full size, and I haven't done a very good job. So what I want to do is I'm going to take the spot healing brush here, I'm going to go larger, and I'm going to just draw over that whole area and see what the computer does for me. Yeah, it does okay. It's having a hard time dealing with the joint there, which was the hard problem for me. So I just do it a couple more times, and spot healing brush usually takes care of it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the cloning tool, give me a bigger clone, and I've got a nice soft edge, and I'm just going to clone in a soft edge there that hopefully you won't see, right? And I'm going to mix it up. Now I have to zoom in because I got to take care of this edge right there. See that edge? Yep, that's the problem. So I know some of you, I know Brian is just freaking out right now because, Mark, you should be doing it this way. But you're a power user. I am not, I'm a hack at Photoshop. You're a trained professional. You're a Photoshop wizard. You wear a pointy hat when you do Photoshop. Not me. I'm lucky that I get it semi-right. Command 0. Yeah, you can still see the line. I don't like the line. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to go to a really big circle, hit OK, and just take out that line there. Let's just see how that goes. That looks pretty good. Just bring that all the way down. That's not so bad, if I do say so myself. Now, I've got an error up here, a little piece of dust I need to get rid of. It's probably a spot on the wall, a little bit of dust on the toilet seat. Stuff just has to go away, right? Because to make this work, this has got to be nearly perfect, right? Boom. All right. Command 0, full screen. Getting rid of all these little errors here. Now, once again, I'm going to go to Nick Silver Effects, because if this is going to be a trouble to print, and printing it in color is 10 times harder than printing it in black and white. But printing it in black and white, you really have to be careful to get it just right. Now, when I look at this, I really don't like the top of the toilet roller there. So we're going to get rid of that when we go back, when we go to print this, when we make our final crop, we're going to fix that. But once again, in Nick Silver Effects, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. I don't see a lot of, oh, look at what the blue does. That's really cool. I like that. So we're going to use the blue filter on this one. So the bathroom wall, this is in our main master bath. It's kind of a creamy color. So look what the blue did. Gave us gave us a pretty cool texture there. I like that. So that's what we're going to use, right? So now, once again, I'm going to take the control point. I'm going to put some structure here on the toilet paper, and here, because that's our true subject. I like the shapes and how the shapes go together. I really like the feel of this. I'm going to hit OK. Now we're done. I mean, that's it. I mean, very simple. So an average photo like this is just going to take me a few seconds to edit. So now I told you we need to crop it. So I'm going to go back to the standard crop tool. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to get rid of the edge here of the toilet paper roll and the top of the toilet paper roll. So look at that. So see how that cleans up the edge of the picture? It makes it a lot tighter, a lot better framing, gives it a lot more communicative value to me, and makes the story really about the toilet and the toilet paper. Now I can even make a case to come in from here, because compositionally I like the way the swoop of the toilet bowl now comes in, right? And I told you when we shot this one that this is one of the few images I'm going to shoot where I'm going to crop, because when I framed the picture, I almost framed it blindly because I couldn't get into the camera and make a critical composition on it. So I really like this. Now, one thing I'm going to take out is, if you take a look here, there's a little black spot. It's the joint in the toilet seat. And it's not, I mean, it's there. It's really there. But I don't like the way it looks, so I'm going to use the spot healing brush. I'm going to come right in here. I'm just going to make a swoop there with it. And see how that disappears? And there's a little bit of sensor dust, it looks like, on my sensor here that I have to get rid of. Command O. Yeah. Just zoom in here and look at this stuff again. Oh yeah, there's some dust there I've got to clean. So I got to get my sensor cleaned here. And yep, that's something we do at Paul's Photo. We clean the sensors. They all need it from time to time. So I'm just taking all these little spots, and when you do white, you're really going to see any kind of dust you have on the sensor. And when you're shooting at f/22 like I was, you're really going to see the dust on the sensor. And when you're shooting something that's plain like this, you're going to see the dust on the sensor. So this is just a real nightmare and something that needs to be taken care of. Very cool. Look at that. Good. Good. Beautiful. Awesome, look at this. Just clean it all up. I mean, and this is what high quality professional photography requires. It requires perfection. Now, here is, once again, the water supply on the toilet, which I didn't see before. Boom, just make it go away, right? Do you have to do all this to make your picture great? I think so. You know, if you're going to enter your picture in the contest, you know, at Paul's Photo, we're big on the Orange County Fair. We're going to expand that if there are fairs this summer. You know, we're going to enter the California State Fair. We have a customer from Iowa that wants us to enter the Iowa State Fair. And I think that stuff is fun. And it's especially fun when we win. And why do we win? We win because we produce quality images, because we take the time to get the picture right. And we go through the steps to do this. So, yeah, just going through. So if you're doing portraits, you're going to be doing this. I didn't realize I had so much crapola on my sensor. Wow. And what happens? There we go. Every now and then when you're doing white like this, it's easy to lose the cursor. So I'll just warn you about that. Especially when I've got it so small. So now, boom, full size. Look at that. Is that a beautiful image or what? So one of the things I love here is to be able to share this. So layer. So I'm going to do File, Save As. Save it as the PSD. Okay. Bam. Layer, flatten image. File, Save As. I add the A at the front so I know which one to select. JPEG so I can post it. Boom, boom, boom. Last step, Control L. I'm going to come in. I've got some white here. I got to be careful. I really can't go any brighter than that. Boom. So we're done. 15 minutes worth of editing. Got 2 pictures out of the way. Hope you learned something. Mark Coman from Paul's Photo and the Creative Photo Academy, inviting you to be creative. Post your pictures, share them. Hashtag Paul's Photo, hashtag Creative Photo Academy, and hashtag We're All Together. Because we're all together in this, we're making amazing pictures, and I want to see who wins the toilet paper challenge. Pepe, you're the one who started this. It's up to you. Have a great day, everybody, and make some great pictures.